Can you really grow more muscle training just 2 days per week in the gym? In today's video, we're gonna take a look at what the science has to say about training just 2 days per week in the gym and see if it really is possible to get more jacked with such a minimalist training program. I'm gonna show you also who a minimalist training program might be right for and who it might not be right for. And I'll show you a couple things to keep in mind if you do decide that you wanna do a 2 or a 3 day per week training plan. So let's just jump right into this and we're gonna start seeing what the science has to say about it. Oh, look at this beautiful gem right here. Effects of resistance training frequency on muscle hypertrophy measures, a systematic review and meta-analysis. This is a 2016 paper done by some of the world's leading researchers on muscle growth. And if you don't know what a systematic review and meta-analysis is, essentially what they're doing is they're taking a very large amount of data, in this case, 491 separate papers, and they're selecting a handful of papers that they deem to be most qualified, that they look more in depth into. And what they were aiming to get a better understanding of here was the effect of training frequency, or how often you trained during the week, on muscle growth. And what they found was actually quite interesting. Training a muscle twice per week generally led to more muscle growth than training just once per week. It's still not clear whether training a muscle more than twice weekly has a clear benefit for muscle growth. But here's the other crazy thing. People still did put on a good amount of muscle when they trained a muscle just once per week, which is wild because this isn't just one person or one incident or my opinion either. This is literally 10 studies with hundreds of participants. So we know that if it's possible to grow muscle training just once a week and training twice a week is probably an even better idea for muscle growth, then 2 weekly workouts is starting to look like a pretty good idea. And this finding has been repeated in the research with a pretty solid practical and theoretical foundation to back it up. To quote a paper from the world's leading expert on muscle growth, Dr. Brad Schoenfeld, on the potential benefits of higher training frequencies, he says, quote, "Theoretically, keeping muscle protein synthesis consistently elevated over the course of each week would heighten the myofibrillar protein accretion and thus have a positive effect on muscle size." To put that in simple terms, muscle protein synthesis is just the rate at which you're growing new muscle. And when you go into the gym and train with weights, you trigger that response, that rate, to be elevated for about 48 hours after your workout. It may be a little bit shorter in more trained individuals, but roughly 48 hours is kind of a good time frame to go off of. So it makes sense that we should trigger that growth response more than just once a week if we want to grow as much muscle as possible. If you think about it, you go into the gym on Monday and you train your chest, well, your muscle protein synthesis rate is elevated until, let's say, Wednesday, somewhere around midday, and then it peters off and goes back down to its baseline rate. Well, for Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, what's going on there? We're just living at baseline. So why not push that button again, elevate that rate for another 48 hours, and we'd grow more muscle throughout the total week, right? Yes, training twice weekly can help you grow more muscle as long as you're training all the muscles that you want to grow twice a week. At this point, you might be wondering, well, once a week, people are growing muscle once a week. Who the hell is training once a week? Well, it might surprise you to know that actually a lot of people are training just once a week. If you think about it, we're talking about per muscle here. So if you have a guy, and I know there's a lot of guys in my gym who do this, you train chest on Monday, Tuesday you come in, you train your back, Wednesday you come in, you train your shoulders and your arms, Thursday you train your legs, and on Friday you do some abs and some cardio stuff. Well, guess what? You only trained each of those muscle groups just one time that week. And this is realistically just kind of an artifact of old school bodybuilding style training. And training a muscle just once a week probably just doesn't have an intelligent place in most people's programs who want to grow more muscle. So training more frequently is probably a good idea. At least twice a week is definitely a good idea. So why isn't everyone training just twice a week? Well, it might seem like a really good idea right now just to do 2 weekly workouts, since you only really need to hit that muscle twice a week to grow it. We kind of run into a little bit more of a practical problem here. If we want to train twice a week, we need to train our entire body twice a week, which is not impossible at all. But for someone who's exceptionally strong and takes on a ton of fatigue when they train, or someone who needs to do an exceptional amount of work and total sets in order to grow as much muscle as they want, this becomes impractical. Think about it. If I have to, let's say, do 15 or 20 sets of good, hard quad training a week for me to grow my best ever quads, that's gonna be very impractical for me to do on just a 2-day-a-week training program. Because on Monday, I have to come in and I have to do 5 sets of leg press, followed by 5 sets of lunges. Good, hard sets, 10 sets of quad work. Man, if you've ever really put a good effort in at the gym, you know what that means. That is intense. You're gonna be sore off that. It's a ton of work. You're winded. You're just even psychologically pretty wrecked after 10 sets of hard quad work. And then again, on Thursday, I'm coming back in to do 5 sets of squats followed by 5 sets of leg extensions. And we haven't even touched the upper body yet, right? So on that Monday session, if we want to do a full body session, that might look like 5 sets of leg press, 5 sets of lunges, and then chest work, and then back work, and so on. So in a case like that, it really does pay to split up that total weekly volume a little bit more evenly. And maybe we come in and do that quad work on Monday, but on Tuesday we come in and train our chest. Wednesday we come in and train our back and maybe our shoulders and our arms, just so we can keep the overall quality of each of our individual training sessions quite a bit higher. So training twice a week is definitely not for everyone, but there are some specific people who could benefit from training just twice a week. And look, I'm not gonna gatekeep this, just straight up. People who wanna get stronger, people who wanna build muscle, or people who just wanna tap into some awesome health benefits that you get from lifting weights, bro, 2 days a week is awesome. Like lifting 2 days a week will get you a lot of that. And look, if lifting 2 days a week sounds good to you, sounds like something you can stick to, something you want to do, dude, go for it. That's all the permission you need right there. Or if you're short on time and 2, 1 hour workouts a week is all you can realistically allocate your time in the gym to, well, damn, that's kind of your best option, right? What else are you gonna do? Or maybe you're a beginner and just going into doing 2 weekly workouts with some weights seems like kind of an approachable and easy to begin place with the gym and doing some weight training. 100% you're gonna make awesome progress for probably years training twice a week. If you do everything right while you're there, you don't have to go 6 days a week to build a bunch of muscle and get jacked. Now here are just 3 things you should keep in mind if you decide you want to run a little bit more of a minimalist training program where you're training just 2 or 3 days per week. Number 1, if you are training just 2 or 3 days per week, your plan is going to be most effective at growing you more muscle if you use a full body approach. Remember, we said that muscle protein synthesis is elevated for 48 hours after your workout. So if you're coming in just 2 or 3 days a week, it would pay to train all the muscles you want to grow. And look, you don't have to train your legs if you don't want to. You don't have to train your arms or your back if you don't want to. Just make sure you're training the muscles that you do want to grow on every session while you're in the gym, or at least twice a week. Number 2 is to just spread your weekly sessions out to give yourself the chance to recover from your workouts so you can come back in and give a really good effort and stimulate some more adaptations when you're in the gym next time. I should just mention this. I'm sure that this is common sense, but I'll say it just in case. If you are doing 2 weekly workouts, don't put them on Monday and then Tuesday back to back. You're still recovering from that first workout. Your muscle protein synthesis rate is still elevated, right? You're sore, you're tired, you're fatigued. You can't really send a good clear signal to grow again if you're not recovered. So instead of doing Monday and Tuesday, you could do Monday and Thursday, Monday and Friday, Monday even Wednesday. Just spread things out evenly so you get best results. And number 3 is you may need to increase the overall volume of your training plan beyond what you might be normally comfortable doing. So if you're just coming into the gym twice a week and you're normally used to doing 2 sets for your biceps in your workouts because you train more frequently, well, guess what? Now you can't just come into the gym on Monday, do 2 sets, and come in on Wednesday and do 2 sets and expect your biceps to grow the same. It just doesn't work like that. So if you're finding that you're not really getting very good pumps in the gym, you're not getting sore, you're not able to progress your movements, and you're well beyond recovered, ready to go for your next workout, you come in, you feel fresh already, well, it might be time to add some more sets gradually as needed. And if you get to 3 sets for your workouts and that's what you're normally used to doing as the cap, but you feel like you could do a lot more, don't be shy. You can add a 4th set, even just 1 set per week. So on Monday, maybe you're doing 3 sets and on Wednesday you're doing 3 sets. Now we just add a 4th set on Monday. Try that out, come in on Wednesday again, see how things feel. The next week, if you feel like you need more, then you can add a 4th set on your second workout as well. You don't have to add a tsunami of volume all out of nowhere. But I'm just saying, if you're training very infrequently, don't be afraid to do a little bit more work in terms of more sets than you might be used to doing. And just to give you a sample idea of what a full body workout might look like in a 2-day per week training program, it might look like this. You come in on a Monday, you do some leg press, followed up by some dumbbell bench press, followed up by some barbell bent over rows. You do some curls, you do some tricep pushdowns and some lateral raises, maybe hit the hamstring curl machine, and you're out of there. Same thing again on your opposite day. You're just gonna pick a variation of all those exercises that you did on the Monday for all the different muscles that you wanna train. So if you don't wanna train your hamstrings, fuck it, don't train them. But you're just gonna pick some variations to keep things fresh, and you're gonna do a separate set of exercises on your second day. That's pretty much it for a full body training program. Hopefully this helps you decide whether or not a 2 or 3 day a week training plan might work for you. And if you're on the fence about it, I highly encourage you to give it a go because it can yield more results than I think most people probably anticipate. And for the person who's short on time, it is really tough to beat a full body 2 or 3 day per week weight training plan. It's fantastic for your health. It helps you build more muscle and it builds a ton of work capacity. If you have any questions about a minimalist training program, you can leave those in the comments below. Again, my name is Matteo. Thank you so much for watching this video. Don't forget to leave it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel if you want to see more good stuff like this. Thanks again for watching. Peace.